All right, good afternoon. I'd like to call to order this meeting of the San Jose City Council for the afternoon of April 7th. Tony, would you please call the roll?
Kamei? Here. Campos? Tordios?
Here.
Cohen? Here. Ortiz?
Present.
Mulcahy?
Here.
Dwan?
Here.
Candelas?
Here.
Casey? Here. Foley? Mahan?
Here.
You have a quorum.
Great, thank you so much. Now, if you're able, please stand and join us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Today's invocation will be provided by the Piedmont Hills High School Orchestra alongside their music director, Yu-Ting Wang, and Councilmember Cohen will tell us more.
Thank you, Mayor. We're very excited today to have some talented students from Piedmont Hills High School with us. In Berryessa, music is a way of life, and we've been very appreciative that we've been able to protect music programs in our elementary school district and Berryessa district. Students start learning music, string music, and instrumental music in 3rd grade, and many of them keep playing for years after. The result of that is that there are many students who, by the time they reach high school, are really dedicated to music, and with a award-winning marching band at Independence High School and some amazing programs at Piedmont Hills High School. Today we have an interesting performance because this is a group of students who do not normally play together. They are from different levels of the orchestra who are playing together for the first time today, but just showcasing the strings talent of our orchestra program at Piedmont Hills High School. Want to thank their teacher, Yu-Ting Wang, for bringing the students here today, particularly during their spring break. They've come and joined us on their week off from school. So thanks to Piedmont Hills Orchestra, and we're looking forward to your performance.
Well, thank you all so much. Let's give them another round of applause. That was fantastic. That was the Piedmont Hills High School Orchestra. Thank you all. You're very talented. We appreciate you helping us kick off our meeting. And Councilor Cohen, thank you for organizing today's invocation. We will move on to our ceremonial items. Councilor Campos, if you will join me at the podium, we will recognize and proclaim April as Month of the Young Child.
Good afternoon, everyone. Today, I am so happy to be joined by First Five Santa Clara County and early childhood and education advocates to celebrate and proclaim April as Month of the Young Child. In this month, we recognize the importance of quality early learning experiences and the ECE professionals who make all work possible. For a city with almost 1 million residents, about 5% are children under the age of 5. And our city is the home to approximately 57,000 young children who depend on the adults in their lives to care for them. And the 11 of us make some pretty important decisions about how the city shows up for our youngest constituents. Increasing access to high-quality early childhood education saves taxpayer dollars and prepares children to succeed in school, earn higher wages, and live healthier lives. With a total capacity of 17,940 licensed slots, San Jose has a capacity gap of 39,000 spaces to meet the needs of our working families. This means we also need to help prepare 1,400 new ECE professionals for the workforce. Because high-quality early childhood education depends on well-prepared early childhood educators who ensure that children supported by families have the early experiences they need for a strong foundation. But in San Jose, the average annual salary for childcare providers who are skilled and valuable professionals is $38,000 a year. When we invest in young children and those who care for them, we are investing in the future of our communities and the health of our economy. In 2024, City Council adopted a Children and Youth Services Master Plan with the vision of a future where every child and youth in San Jose could blossom and thrive into healthy, resilient adults. And now, more than ever, it is essential that we fund and implement this plan alongside our community partners because our children and their families cannot afford our inaction. An organization that understands the urgency and has been on the front lines of this work is our partner, First Five Santa Clara County. Their programs and advocacy supports our ECE infrastructure, giving providers the tools and resources to deliver care to our communities. So I thank you, First Five, for your leadership and for joining us to proclaim April as Month of the Young Child. And now we will hear from Jennifer Cloyd, Executive Director of First Five.
Good afternoon, everyone, and on behalf of Potter the Otter here and myself, we really want to thank the mayor and city council members for proclaiming April as the month of the young child. When we talk about young children, we're not just talking about a phase of life. We are talking about the foundation of everything. Every laugh, every first word, every small moment of care and connection is shaping who a child will become. Somewhere in our city right now, a parent is rocking a child to sleep, hoping that they're doing enough. And somewhere else, a caregiver is working 2 jobs, trying to make ends meet, while still finding time to read just one more story. And a child's learning their first words, taking their first steps, and beginning to understand the world around them. These moments may feel small, but they are everything. Because in those first 5 years, a child's brain is developing faster than at any other time of life. What we do, or more importantly, what we don't do in those years can echo for a lifetime. At First 5 Santa Clara County, we exist to stand beside those families in those moments and ensure that every child in our community from prenatal to age 5 has the strongest start possible. Because when we support a parent, we support a child, and we create a community. Now, Potter here is joining me today because Potter does like to party. And in honor of the month of the young child, we want to invite you all to join us for our inaugural Potter the Otter Day celebration at the Children's Discovery Museum on April 25th, where we will be enjoying stories, songs, and smiles, and Potter will be there reminding us that learning and growing is a joyful experience that every child deserves to feel seen and celebrated. And in fact, today, he's brought some books to share with our council members and mayor, since they don't have enough to read on a daily basis, so we thought we'd add some light reading to the mix. And again, we invite you to join us. This proclamation is really our city's promise that we as a community will continue to put our children, especially our youngest children, first, invest in our families, and build a community where every child has the opportunity to thrive. Because when we care for our youngest children, we really are caring for our future. Thanks for standing with us, and happy Month of the Young Child. High five, Potter. Let's give the mayor a high five.
And our mayor will present the proclamation, and any council members who wish to join us for a picture with Potter the Otter, please come and join us.
Thanks for being here. All right. And for a photo, it's usually best to kind of come Potter and you and Potter in the middle. There we go.
That tail is a little bit challenging.
Potter dance, though. That's the
Potter can dance.
Oh, okay. All
Watch
right.
out.
Okay.
Okay, Potter, please cut. Thank you. Yes, yes. Potter,
High five. All right. Oh, there you go.
hi. All right, Potter, ready to go?
All right. Thank you, Potter. Great to see you. Thank you, Councilmember Campos. Councilmember Dewan, if you would join me here at the podium, we will recognize and proclaim April 14th through 16th as Cambodian New Year.
While we're waiting for everyone to come on down. Come on down. Here we are. Well, hello, everyone. Today's ceremonial, I am proud to proclaim Cambodian New Year. Celebrate this year from April 14th to April 16th. Cambodian New Year, or Chao Chum Tame, marks the end of harvest season, and it is time for family and community to come together in joy, reflection, and renewal, honoring Cambodian rich cultural heritage through traditional games, dances, and ritual. Today, I am pleased to be joined by representatives from the Cambodian American Resource Agency, San Jose Cultural Dance Troupe, Kamanraram Buddhist Temple, San Jose Cambodian Buddhist Society, Khmer Kampuchea Krom Buddhist Association, Khmer Buddhist Foundation, Khmer Rangsi Temple, Khmer Krom Federation, San Jose Chapter, Santa Clara County Cambodian Women Association, Cambodian Genocide Resource Center, Good Sam Lotus Charity, Angkor Rebuild Services, Southeast Asian Development Center, EVC Aspire Plus, Evergreen Valley College, and San Jose City College. Thank you all for being here and for helping us celebrate and recognize the vibrancy and contribution of the Cambodian community to the city of San Jose. I now will be passing the mic to Dr. Kara to share more about the Cambodian community.
Good afternoon, Mayor Mahan, council members, and to the community. My name is Dr. Kara Uyhas, and I'm here on behalf of the Cambodian American Resource Agency, as well as Aspire Plus. It is our deep honor to accept this proclamation alongside the many Khmer organizations that are here today that make up the San Jose Cambodian community. Khmer New Year is more than just a holiday. It's a return to our roots, to our ancestors, and to one another. For many of us in the Khmer diaspora, this celebration carries deeper meaning. It represents survival, healing, and the continuation of a culture that endured unimaginable loss. Over the past 50 years, it has been our temples and organizations, many serving San Jose for the past 3 decades, that have carried this responsibility with care and devotion. We honor our sacred temples and spaces, including Khmer Buddhist Temple, Khmer Rangsay Temple, the Khmer Kampuchea Karam Buddhist Association, who will soon be moving into their new temple in the Evergreen area. These temples are places where traditions live on through prayer, ceremony, and guidance from our elders. These temples are places where traditions are honored through cultural, community, and storytelling. We also honor our cultural and community organizations who keep our heritage alive through dance, language, storytelling, advocacy, and healing, ensuring that Khmer New Year is not just remembered, but also lived. Kara has also had the privilege of working alongside all of these organizations, and we want to thank all of you for being our community partners and for also being here today to accept this proclamation. And being here in the community for the past 20 years, volunteering alongside many of the leaders who are presidents and board members of organizations that serve our community, their dedication, which is often quiet but determined, is what sustains our community. And together, you form the heart of who we are, and you contribute to the community in San Jose. You carry forward not just tradition, but identity, dignity, and belonging. So this proclamation is not just a recognition of a holiday, it's our recognition of generations of service, resilience, and love for our community. As we celebrate Khmer New Year, we honor our ancestors, uplift our elders, and invest in their future generations who will carry this legacy forward. May this new year, Year of the Fire Horse, bring health, peace, and continued strength to our community. And may we continue together to celebrate not only where we come from, but who we're becoming. Thank you.
Thank you for being here, Doctor. It's my honor to proclaim Cambodian New Year in the city of San Jose.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Happy New Year. Thank you all for being here.
Take a picture together. We can all squeeze in.
Thank you all for being here. Happy New Year.
Thank you so much for your support.
All right, and on to our final ceremonial item. Councilmember Mulcahy, if you would join me at the podium, we will recognize and proclaim April as Autism Awareness Month. And congratulations on our first ever flag raising. I'm sure you'll speak to that. Well done.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Mayor. Josh and friends, why don't you make your way down and line up behind me for some recognition and eventually a great photo with all of us. So, as the mayor said, at noon today, we raised the Autism Awareness Month flag on the City Hall Plaza for the first time. Literally raising, yes, literally raising visibility for autism and joining with their community in solidarity. Here in California, 1 in 22 are diagnosed with autism, which is why today and all month long we will proudly honor the many individuals with autism who enrich our communities through their perspectives, talents, and achievements. And let us all commit that it's not just for this month, but it's every day in San Jose. This proclamation is an opportunity to recognize the individuals, families, educators, and advocates who lead with compassion and work every day to uplift and support autistic individuals in our schools, workplaces, and in our neighborhoods. Your voices and experiences are helping to shape a more inclusive San Jose, and we are deeply grateful to your leadership. With this proclamation, we reaffirm our commitment to supporting individuals with autism and celebrating their contributions to our community. I'm honored to welcome special guests from the Morgan Autism Center in District 6, Hannah Wilder, students Pearson and Simran, and speaking today will be Joshua Drake, the center's executive director, to share a few words before the mayor and I present a proclamation. Josh?
Thank you, Michael. Thank you very much for the commendation. Thank you to the mayor. Thank you to the city council. And a special thank you to our council member, Michael Mulcahy, who has visited our campus multiple times and has been active, ongoing support for our program as we're trying to expand to try and meet this burgeoning need we have in our community. I am Josh Drake, the Executive Director of Morgan Autism Center. Morgan Autism Center was founded 55 years ago with the idea that our children can learn. It was a radical idea then, and unfortunately it's sometimes still a radical idea today. We are the only program in the Bay Area that has both a non-public school serving children age 5 to 21, as well as an adult program serving individuals from 22 to 60 plus, and we've been doing that combination for the last 40 years. We're focused on serving those with the most profound autism, so many of our students and clients require one-to-one services, AAC devices, all that support so they can communicate and be successful. I was fortunate to attend the flag raising earlier today. Very excited that the city has, for the first time, raised a flag and has been recognizing Autism Awareness Month. Excited about getting to awareness. We need to get to understanding, empathy, and building relationships in order to truly allow all of those on the spectrum, but in particular those with more profound autism, to be able to access public spaces like this. Public spaces like the playground on the weekends, the public space of the mall if they choose so to go there, as well as those real meaningful opportunities to volunteer or have vocational opportunities in the community. So an important milestone today towards where we ultimately want to go. As many of you may know, the rates of autism have been increasing dramatically. In just the last 7 years here in the Bay Area, the autism population has doubled, and it continues to increase at a similar rate. And so excited that we, in our most recent strategic plan, have decided to grow the organization, and we are well on our track to growing by 50% in the next 5 years. But there's a huge amount of need out there in the community beyond what any one organization can do. So really appreciative to get this commendation for the organization, for our staff and our families, but I'd really love for you to get a better sense of who we are by hearing from our students and some of our adult clients. So with that, I'd love for Pearson to come up, as well as Simran. Come on, buddy.
Thanks.
All right, Pearson, I have a question for you, okay? What classroom are you in?
I am room 3,
And what do you like about Mac?
talking with my friends.
Awesome. Thank you, Simran. Thank you, Pearson. You can see Pearson has an AAC device, and he can both use that to communicate with us as well as we can communicate with him. So many of our students are nonverbal, but they have plenty to say. And so it's about how do you effectively communicate? How do you provide those resources so someone can be an active participant in their community? And with that, he can communicate very successfully as well as some of our others. I would love for Hannah to come up and share her experience.
Hi, Hannah.
Hi, Param.
For how long have you been at MAC?
I have been at MAC for 12 years.
What is your favorite thing to do at MAC, Hannah?
I like math, cooking, and art. Thank you.
So I would invite you all to come to our campus and open invite and get to know our population, the joys, the challenges they face every day, the joys, the challenges their families face every day, as Councilmember Mulcahy has. And once you get to know them, you get to know the joys and challenges we all face. And really part of our purpose is creating a community that they can all be active members in. Thank you so much.
I still owe you a visit.
We'd love to have you come visit.
We got a fall. Okay.
Do you want to show that to them?
There you go.
Hannah.
What's up?
All right. Thank you all for those ceremonial items. We are on to orders of the day. Does anyone have any changes to the printed agenda? I'm not aware of any requests. I'm not seeing any. We'll move on to the closed session report.
Mayor and council met in closed session today to go through the agenda as posted, and there's nothing to report at this time.
Thank you, Susanna. All right, we will go on then to consent. Are there any items council would like to pull from the consent calendar? Seeing none, do we have a motion?
Public comments first.
Great. Do we have public comment on consent?
Yes. Brian Darby, come on down.
Great.
I wanted to say something about the consent item, but just that last ceremonial item. Morganson, I think it was, I have 2 pretty good desktops, 2 or 3 iPads, and my quote-unquote expertise, if they want them, and a couple of pretty good-sized monitors. Thank you. Sorry to go out of time.
Back to council.
All right, coming back to the council. I don't see any hands. Let's vote.
Motion passes unanimously.
Thank you. All right, we're on to item 3.1, report of the city manager.
Thank you very much, Mayor and City Council. I have a great employee update to recognize some of our amazing employees in our finance and information technology departments today. They're an exceptional team, and I'm excited to tell you that together they identified and addressed a critical need for a new business tax system, which successfully went live this past January. This effort was driven by the urgent need to replace a legacy system that was no longer supported and posed cybersecurity risks due to its connections with other city systems. In response, this team stepped up and delivered an innovative solution, building the new system entirely in-house. That is a remarkable achievement. The team brought together employees from the information technology and the finance department, business tax, and payment processing units. Their collaboration is an example of what we mean by working together as one team to advance our city's strategic support service area goals. In this case, they enhanced security while also improving the customer experience by creating a more accessible and reliable system. The system was tested and launched in time to support our business tax amnesty program that also began in January 2026. It went live very smoothly without disruption to our customers and with only very minimal technical issues. The joint vision and purpose successfully came together with strong technical expertise, business knowledge, careful planning, and a shared commitment to public service. The energy, dedication, and pride this team brought to this project were evident every step of the way. I want everyone to be aware that it is rare for a government agency of any size to design and build a system like this from the ground up. To do it so quickly and with such immediate success speaks volumes about the talent and commitment of our employees here in San Jose. We are fortunate to have a team of this caliber and a work environment that supports creativity, collaboration, and innovation. I want to thank our Finance Director, Maria Oberg, and Information Technology Director and Chief Information Officer, Khalid Tafik, for leading this endeavor. We have members of our business tax system upgrade team with us today, and they're so proud of the work that has been put out to our community. And I invite you all to stand up because I'm so incredibly proud of you all, so we can recognize your outstanding work today. Thank you. What an amazing team. Thank you all. Thank you. That concludes my report.
Awesome. Well done. You don't normally get a big round of applause for a business tax software update, but that is exciting. Well done, team. It's important work. It's foundational. Thank you, guys. Thank you, Jennifer. All right, we're on to item 3.3, establishment of the GovAI Coalition as a nonprofit corporation. And we will hear from Khalid and the team as soon as they're ready.
Good afternoon, Mayor, council members, and members of the public. My name is Khalid Tawfiq. I'm the Chief Information Officer and the Director of Information Technology. Today, we present item 3.3, the establishment of the GovAI Coalition as a nonprofit organization, presenting with me Albert Glee, City Privacy and AI Officer, and Chelsea Palacio, ITD Public Information Manager. Since the initial City Council presentation on AI and Government, or GovAI Coalition, on October 25, 2024, the City of San Jose and the Coalition has continued its efforts to collaborate and provide guidance to hundreds of government agencies. Today, we are seeking the establishment of the GovAI Coalition as a nonprofit organization supported by a grant from the Packard Foundation to expand its ability to secure external funding, achieve long-term sustainability, and further advance its mission. San Jose is taking a leading role in responsible AI governance by integrating its principles into city services and reinforcing its position as a leader in government. The city is recognized for hosting the NVIDIA annual GTCA conference, one of the world's largest AI conferences, and also for hosting the GovAI Coalition Summit, the nation's leading conference on the practical and responsible use of AI in government. The city has influenced AI development through transparency and accountability as referenced or reflected in our guidelines and policies, as well as our AI upskilling program. Our leadership in digital privacy and AI governance strengthen public trust and position San Jose as a model for governments nationwide, and led to the formation of the coalition in San Jose. In May 2023, the city established or published the Generative AI Guidelines in response to the release of the ChatGPT in November 2022. This generated national interest that many agencies reached out to learn more about the guidelines and AI efforts in San Jose. As a result, we identified the need to establish a standard approach and recognized a great opportunity to collaborate on how to evaluate AI tools. In November 2023, San Jose convened the GovAI Coalition first virtual meeting, attended by 50 IT leaders nationwide, some of whom became founding members of the coalition. By March 2024, the board was formed, consisting of 7 government agencies working closely with San Jose, highlighting the value of a government for government initiative. The coalition published free resources, including the first AI policy templates that helped hundreds of government agencies, including the city. In 2024, Council approved $100,000 budget allocation in the IT budget, strengthening AI initiatives, including the support of the GovAI Coalition. San Jose was among the first cities to invest in AI and dedicated funds to help shape the future of AI. By December 2024, the coalition reached 1,000 members, right before the inaugural GovAI Coalition Summit right here in San Jose. I will turn it over to Albert.
Thank you, Khalid, Mayor, council members, and members of the public. Albert Glee, City Privacy and AI Officer in the Information Technology Department. Since 2024, the GovAI Coalition has grown organically to more than 3,000 members from over 900 agencies across multiple countries, driven by all of our agencies' shared needs to serve our communities better with AI. The GovAI Coalition's mission is to ensure that public sector AI serves the public good through resource sharing, standards, and advocacy. In coordinating responsible and effective AI with thousands of others, the city has been able to strengthen its own AI governance and use case initiatives, including growing our databases for road safety detections and AI translation tools.
The Coalition structure includes a governing body consisting of IT leaders from 7 government agencies who share responsibility with San Jose in advancing the coalition's mission. I serve as the board chair alongside 6 IT leaders. San Jose facilitates operations and meetings alongside more than 20 leaders from 20 agencies who lead 6 committees and several working groups. This distributed leadership model allows the city to leverage talents from across the nation to advance its mission. The 6 committees include readiness and adoption, community engagement, data governance, procurement, industry relations, and use cases. I'll turn over to Chelsea.
Chelsea Palacio, Public Information Manager for the IT department. So in just over 2 years, the GovAI Coalition has helped strengthen how governments approach AI by providing shared tools and standards. We have provided numerous free resources, including an AI policy template based on San Jose's AI policy, the AI fact sheet, a vendor registry, a collaborative contract hub, and a monthly newsletter. We have promoted AI education for the public sector by developing a training series based on the city's AI upskilling program. We have grown the coalition's membership to over 3,000 members, representing 900 plus agencies and 7 countries. We host the GovAI Coalition Summit, bringing hundreds of attendees to San Jose. And these achievements also supported San Jose's staff and reduced duplication of work. I'll pass it back to Khaled.
Thank you, Chelsea. Currently, the GovAI Coalition is out within the city, which constrains its ability to scale and secure external funding. As the coalition expands, dedicated funding and staffing are needed to sustain its operations. 3 key priorities to ensure the GovAI Coalition continues to deliver value to government agencies, including the city. 1, funding. Establishing the coalition as a nonprofit will enable its access to grants and philanthropic funding not typically available to the city. This additional funding will support the continued development of the resources that benefit San Jose and other agencies while advancing innovation and reducing reliance on limited public funding. 2, partnerships. The coalition can expand partnership with government agencies, academic institutions, and private sector organizations. Such partnerships will facilitate shared learning and global collaboration. While the coalition has grown to include 900 agencies, increasing demand necessitates additional capacity beyond what the city can sustain. And last but not least, marketing and development. Support from dedicated outreach resources will enable specialized staff to manage partnerships, communications, and global growth, reinforcing San Jose's international leadership and recognizing the GovAI Coalition Annual Summit. During the process of obtaining 501c3 nonprofit status, which may take approximately 9 months, the GovAI Coalition will operate under an interim fiscal sponsor. This structure will allow the coalition to access grants requiring a 501c3 designation, while also providing administrative services, dedicated staffing, compliance, and operational support. The board of the coalition will be comprised of individuals who are working for government agencies, but no seats on the board will be reserved for any particular agency, including the City of San Jose. Board members will be selected by the board based on their qualifications and contributions and will serve in their personal and individual capacities. The transition will be funded by the Packard Foundation with no additional impact to general fund. Upon council approval, ITD will coordinate with the city attorney's office to initiate the nonprofit process, establishing an interim fiscal sponsor and formalize the coalition's board of directors. The coalition will subsequently apply and attain the 501c3 status. We are excited to continue hosting the GovAI Coalition Summit from December 9 to 11 at the McHenry Convention Center. We expect to have 700 attendees this year at the 3rd annual summit. We do hope to see all of you at the summit. This has been a remarkable journey, and reflecting on our progress in less than 3 years underscores the commitment and collaboration of many dedicated individuals nationwide, working toward a common mission to enhance civic services through the responsible use of AI. Our sincere appreciation to Mayor Mahan and his staff, Stephen Keynes and Kate Herzberg, the City Council, City Manager McGuire, for the vision and continued support of the GovAI Coalition. I would like to recognize and appreciate the coalition for the founding members, board founding members who played an instrumental role in establishing and advancing the coalition. I would also like to thank the committee chairs and working groups from over 20 agencies, our city staff, our partners, and the fast-growing 3,000 coalition members. And finally, I would like to recognize my amazing team for their innovation and dedication to the city and to the coalition. Jim Bursick, Albert Glee, Lelia Doty, Chelsea Palacio, Arti Tangri, and Namrata Batra Agrawal. I conclude my presentation by sharing what we often say in the coalition: this is just the beginning. Thank you, and this concludes our presentation.
Great, thank you all so much for the presentation. Look forward to the conversation. Tony, do we have any public comment?
Yes, Brian Darby.
Thank you for your hard work. Nice report. Just something about AI. The one thing that is done at least from a constituent standpoint, is that you face us. And we can come here, I do a lot. We can write emails, we can make phone calls, we can send faxes. To be really honest with you, the response rate is maybe 5%, and that's being pretty lenient. And so if I wrote another email, presented a way to have it help you harvest information from the emails you get. One of the very nice staff, very hardworking staff, mentioned that the inboxes for most of you are overwhelming. Well, how else are we supposed to contact you? And I think they could offer you some ideas. I know I did. I even scripted this out. And it worked on my machine. And you can scale it up, scale it down. At least there would be an answer, because a lot of people give back. We'll get back to you in 72 hours. That doesn't happen. Why put that on your website? If you don't want us to talk to you, that's fine. I know that's not any of your objectives, and I know everybody's busy, everybody's overwhelmed. So are we. We take the time to write emails. We take the time to come here and talk. Even if I don't get an answer, if I know that this is being marked somewhere where it reaches you, it makes a difference. And I'm not the only one that feels that way. Thank you.
Back to council.
Okay, great. Thank you. Once again, Khaled, Albert, Chelsea, thank you for the presentation, all your great work building the GovAI Coalition. It's something I think San Jose should be very proud of. We've worked very closely. As you know, we have our Chief Innovation Officer in my office, Stephen Keynes, who's supported by Keith Hertzberg, and have been really proud to support the work that Khaled and the team have done with our colleagues in other jurisdictions across the country. And I think it's a testament to our leadership, of course, in part just based on proximity, geography, but also our willingness to lead and innovate and take risks. And I want to thank our city manager, Jennifer McGuire, for recognizing that it's important that we stay ahead of technological changes, and that we do have a privileged position being the big city in Silicon Valley, and that if any city is going to figure out how to use these tools, use them safely, create the right regulatory and policy environment, and leverage them to enhance public services, it should be San Jose. And it's really helped build our brand. As you heard, we have an annual conference now where hundreds of people come to San Jose, media, employers, most importantly, public sector workers from all levels of government, from all over the country, come here to collaborate and share information about how technology is evolving and how we can best harness it to deliver better public services. The coalition, with a lot of support from San Jose, has created the model for how local governments and other levels of government can take advantage of these new tools, including our AI starter guide and other policy manuals, AI incident response plan, a fact sheet that allows vendors to explain and demystify their systems for procurement processes, a contract hub where different governments can see fully executed contracts from other agencies to accelerate procurement, and many other resources and tools. One thing we've led on that I just want to especially highlight, and I think is a testament to the team's leadership, has been the IT Training Academy that we've created, I know with support from San Jose State, which includes both our AI and data upskilling tracks. And I think this workforce component is really important for any successful deployment of AI. We often say technology and we think of a tool, a device, a gadget, maybe data, but ultimately it's about people. And that's something we always talk about, is how do we build capacity and empower our people to use the latest tools to be as creative, productive, and fulfilled and impactful in their work as possible. So these upskilling programs are a multi-week curriculum that helps our staff up-level and have practical tools for streamlining more routine tasks that make the job less efficient and less interesting. And by saving time on those repetitive tasks, we actually give employees the opportunity to focus on the higher value, more mission-driven aspects of their roles, which improves our service delivery and resident outcomes and satisfaction. So I'm really proud that we're leaning in to the workforce upskilling and empowerment piece of this, because these tools shouldn't just happen to us and have a big disruptive impact. We want to harness them and shape them and use them so they work for our workers and ultimately work for our community by enabling us to deliver better services more cost effectively. So really proud of everything the team has done. As you heard, starting in just 2023, we have now grown the coalition to 900 agencies, 3,000 members. And it makes sense now to take this next step where, as a nonprofit, the coalition is likely to have greater long-term sustainability and be able to seek other funding sources, such as philanthropic contributions. I was proud to include a $100,000 allocation in the 24-25 budget as seed funding for the work. Thank you to council colleagues for supporting that initial seed funding, but it's going to be important that we get other entities, philanthropic and otherwise, to invest in this work. And thank you to the Packard Foundation for recognizing the importance of the GovAI Coalition and investing $150,000 to support this transition. I'll just end on this. As we establish this 501c3 nonprofit and develop bylaws, I do encourage us to ensure that the city of San Jose continues to play a strong role in the coalition. Specifically, I hope that our ITD director will continue to serve as the board chair, as was highlighted, and that the summit remains in San Jose at least every other year, if not every year, so we can continue to showcase the incredible technology created in our backyard and how we're deploying it here in one of the nation's largest, most innovative cities. So thank you again, Khalid team. You guys have done tremendous work, and I think this is a great next step. We're sort of incubating this out of the city to some extent, though I know we'll continue to play a very central role in the success of the coalition. So thanks for all the work in the presentation, and with that, I will turn to Councilmember Ortiz.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, staff. I want to just elevate your extremely important work on this very important topic. I also want to thank the Mayor for his leadership and advocacy in this arena. You know, I support our city's exploration of AI. I think it would be foolish for us or for any municipality, but especially one dubbed the capital of Silicon Valley, to shy away from these conversations. And so I'm really glad that we are not just not shying away, but really at the forefront of these discussions, actually statewide. And I agree with the mayor when he says that, you know, we should continue to remain in a leading chair, in a leading position in this conversation, because we want to shape the way AI is used, whether that's at cities, at government agencies, or just, you know, in any industry. And I don't think that both local or state governments have been doing their due diligence to, you know, shape this conversation and contribute to this conversation. In many ways, it's happening to our municipalities without our voice contributing. And so I just want to really highlight that. I believe we have a responsibility to be in these discussions and in this arena. But I also believe that, you know, as we look to AI, there could be some unintended consequences. I think we also have the responsibility to look at what potential guardrails should be, whether that's, you know, in the city, municipal jobs or careers, or even in the workplace outside, or just in society as a whole. Because at the end of the day, we want to protect our residents, you know, especially those who are in protected categories, and then of course our staff, right? Because in many ways, people enter into the public service not because it pays a lot, but because they're giving back, right? And we've seen in Silicon Valley, you know, literally teams in tech that build out AI systems, and then they're laid off because now we have AI to do a lot of that work, right? And so, we also can't shy away for those conversations as well. You know, just doing some quick research, I've seen that like companies, right, not cities, but companies who use AI to shift through applications, right, that has had unintended consequences towards applicants who are community members of color, right? Or individuals who didn't go or didn't have access to specific colleges. And then, of course, there's also been discrimination towards, some of our protected groups, whether that's people of color, disabled, immigrants, et cetera. And so how is our city or this coalition going to lean into, what potential guardrails should or could be in place as, municipalities and government agencies explore the world that is, AI?
And maybe I can jump in first. So the good questions, Council Member. I know for our own AI policy, just for San Jose, what we can control here, we're exploring right now as we're in bargaining with our unions about making sure that employment decisions and disciplinary decisions are not AI generated, or AI is making the decision on those type of things. And so we're going to be having discussions with our labor folks and our staff about that, because that we absolutely can control beyond what the coalition comes up with. We could have our own local policies, but I know that's important for us in controlling those decisions, because I think we would share the same concerns.
Just to confirm, just for my own informational purposes, so those discussions will be handled in bargaining and not necessarily here on the dais then?
Yeah, right now, and we have been discussing that in closed session, but yes.
Oh, okay.
Okay, and so we're definitely discussing that, and we'll bring you up to speed, but as we speak in bargaining, those issues are front and center of some concerns that have been brought to us, and we're trying to work through.
Great, thank you. And I guess outside of just like the bargaining issues, but just in general, right, there has been tools used in ways, AI tools that have, cut off access, whether it's services, resources, to specific populations. Do we look at guardrails? Is that a part of the conversation? Yeah, just trying to get some of your understanding around it.
Absolutely. Thank you, Councilmember, for the question. It's a great and critical question that we've been asking ourselves. Our philosophy has been people, systems, process. We start with people. We want to make sure that our staff is trained, aware, capable. We engage with them to get feedback. And today, Albert started the 4th cohort for AI upskilling training, and the number keeps increasing. We had over 40 people that subscribed to the training today. And it's important for us to continue that engagement, because we have to engage the public, number one, community, to understand their concerns, and also our staff to make sure that, number one, they're aware, they know the risk, they understand the privacy concerns, they understand the potential risk to the process. And through that education and conversation, we get to reshape or redirect our policies and procedure to see how we can take it to the next level. We are strong believers that AI will be a great tool to help our employees, not to replace them. We believe that by investing in that conversation and investing in our staff, we will take services to the next level, using our staff and our dedicated and passionate interaction with the public. Unlike the private sector, we are more about the service and community engagement and delivering the service in an empathetic and personal manner versus shipping products out of the door. So we believe strongly in our team, and the city manager and has been emphasizing from the beginning that people, system, process is something that we continue to emphasize and to invest in. And this is part of also for the bigger picture with the customer experience program that the city manager has been leading. And AI becomes a tool to deliver that value to our community.
Great, no, thank you, and that's pretty much how I see it. Like I said, I support the exploration of AI. I think we need to be part of that conversation, if not the leading voice in that conversation. So thank you and the mayor for both of your advocacy. It's just kind of like, not to sound like a nerd, but that quote from Spider-Man, that with great power comes great responsibility. And so I just want to make sure that we're doing our due diligence. Thank you so much.
It's a good quote, and I think well said. I will say also, for just historic context, I know we were one of the first cities to really go deep on data security and privacy questions, which I think gave us a good foundation for having more confidence in leaning in now. But I think the point about workforce and making sure workers really understand the tools, feel empowered. My view has been, and I think it's incumbent upon us to make it true, that these tools enhance our workforce and enhance productivity, are not deployed as a labor replacement. God knows we have a shortage of staff. If anything, we use technology to get leverage and more productivity and impact for our community, but we're going to continue to need people. I just think that jobs are going to evolve over time and hopefully become even more interesting and impactful. Okay, Councilor Kamei, I had you next.
Thank you so much, and thank you for the presentation. I was not able to attend last year, but I attended the very first inaugural GovAI conference, and it was just fabulous. I mean, it was great to see so many people just wanting to come together to do the right thing. So I want to thank you for your leadership and really leading in this area. I really love that you mentioned people, systems, and process, because I think that as you lead, others will come to see what the City of San Jose is doing, what we're trying to do together in this coalition, and certainly I have a lot of confidence that this could be done in the correct way versus, going sideways, and really, really help others who don't know where to go. So with that, I really want to support this and move staff recommendation to adopt the resolution.
Great, thank you both. And Councilor Dewan?
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, the IT team, for creating this coalition and this throughout United States. And I think all of us here on the council, we put people first, right? And AI, again, the mayor made it very clear, is a tool that we can leverage that will help our employee to be more efficient and effective in delivering a better service for our community. Changes is the toughest thing for human to do, because something new. And I remember 20-something years ago, the iPhone and the phone came out. I was resistive. I just want to stick with the pager. But in the end, we all can't live without the iPhone. We will be responsible to create more jobs, not taken away. We put our people first versus, the technology, but we use the technology as a tool. And that's a great tool that would bring us to the forefront, that will bring us investment, that it will bring better jobs and more investor right here in the city of San Jose. That's what we need to deliver that 268 services, that's including 95 core services to our residents. And I just want to say thank you so much for doing so.
Awesome. Thanks, Council Member. Tony, let's vote.
Motion passes unanimously.
Wonderful. All right, thank you all. We're on to thank you again to staff. We're on to item 6.1, Willow Rock Long Duration Energy Storage Agreement. I believe we have a brief staff presentation.
Good afternoon, Mayor and Council. I'm Lori Mitchell, the Director of the Energy Department, and very pleased today to be joined by Phil Cornish, who is a Principal Power Resource Specialist. As a reminder, since 2019, San Jose Clean Energy has contracted for over 1 gigawatt of new renewable energy and storage resources. These projects include solar paired with storage, as well as solar standing alone, geothermal, wind, and then standalone energy storage. And you can see on the map here, many of these locations are located throughout California and in the western portion of the United States. This project is a new project that we're recommending contracting for. It is going to be owned and operated by a company called HydroStore, which was founded in 2010. The project is called Willow Rock, and it's an advanced compressed air storage facility, which is a new type of technology for our portfolio.
It's important that it will deliver long-duration storage, which is increasingly important as we have more renewables on the grid in California. This company has successfully developed a small advanced compressed storage facility in Canada, and they have another one under development in Australia. However, this project will be their flagship project located in California. A little bit about this technology, as you can see in the picture depicted here, it starts with compressing air through a compressor, and then that generates heat, which they will store in their thermal management system, which you can see is the number 2 box there. That compressed air will then be pumped underground into a storage cavern that's made up of granite, and that cavern will be filled with water, and as that air enters the cavern, it will push the water up into the surface reservoir, which is number 4 there. Then when energy is needed, that water reservoir storage would be released. That will push the compressed air back up to the surface level. That compressed air will then be reheated from that waste heat in the first part of the process, which is what makes this technology advanced. So it will not use any type of fossil fuel to heat that air. And then that air will be processed and expanded through the compressor to generate electricity. So we're pretty excited to add this new type of technology to our portfolio. As I mentioned, some of the key terms of this agreement, the technology is advanced compressed air storage. We are buying from this facility 2 products. One is resource adequacy, and then the other is energy. As I mentioned, it's located in Kern County in California, and it will have an online date expected to be June 1 of 2030. We will pay a fixed price, as we do with most of our power purchase agreements, with no escalation, and that term will be 20 years. We expect the annual cost to be just under $4 million, with a total cost of $80 million. It's important to note that this is a power purchase agreement, so because this is a new technology, there is some risk that it may be not get into construction and into operation. If that happens, we will not pay anything for the energy that is not delivered. We would not pay anything if it doesn't generate. So that's the main way that we're mitigating our risks. Our main risk would be that we would need to replace this project with something else to meet our regulatory requirements. And so that is the main reason we're recommending it. It helps us meet not only our annual and monthly resource adequacy regulatory obligation, but also to comply with the Public Utilities Commission procurement orders. Additionally, it adds additional storage to the portfolio, which we have identified as a need in our integrated resource plan, and then it brings some technology diversity to our portfolio. So just as background, we are recommending that we contract with this through an organization called California Community Power, which we joined back in 2021. That organization is made up of 9 other member CCAs, which allows us to contract for emerging technologies with this, but share that risk over many CCAs throughout the region so that we can take a smaller share of it. In terms of our project selection criteria, which Council approved recently, it scored very well. This project will be built with a project labor agreement as well as a maintenance labor agreement for the ongoing construction and operation of it. Again, it's located in Kern County. It will go through a CEQA process, and we think it has a low likelihood of affecting sensitive habitat. And importantly, the developer intends to implement a community benefits plan for the local community. So with that, we're happy to take any questions.
Great. Thank you for the presentation. Tony, do we have public comment?
I have no cards for this item.
Okay. Coming back to the council, we'll go to Councilmember Cohen.
Yeah, thank you. I just want to express my appreciation for having you bring forward this proposal. I'm excited about the diversification of storage, energy storage, the idea that we're doing something other than lithium-ion battery, and all these new technologies are really exciting, and I'm hopeful that it'll work well. I was going to ask the question, we talked about this last week, but How does the efficiency of this kind of technology compare to the efficiency of lithium-ion battery?
Yeah, that's a great question. So it is less efficient. It's about 60 to 65% efficient versus a battery is about 80 to 85% efficient. However, it's important to note that the lifespan of this technology is much longer, so it's expected to be about a 50-year facility, although our contract is only 20 years, versus a battery's lifespan is typically 10 to 15 years.
And the batteries have all kinds of other materials and harmful environmental impacts. Because what's exciting about this technology is its use of basically water and gas and air and space and nothing else. So there's a huge environmental plus despite the lower efficiency. So I'm going to move approval.
Second. Thanks, Councilmember. Vice Mayor?
Thank you. Thank you for the presentation. And I actually just have a couple of questions, although, Lori, I think you answered them. I just want clarification. So we're not committing to any financial contribution or payment until the storage facility is completed and they're ready to deliver energy. Is that correct?
That's correct. So we are the buyer under this transaction, and so we will start buying energy from it and resource adequacy once it's completed construction, anticipated in 2030. What this agreement will allow the developer to do is to go out and finish the rest of the development process. They will go get financing to construct the facility. We will not provide any of that financing.
Okay, actually that was going to be my next question, so thank you. And how confident are you in Hydrostar's ability to deliver this? You mentioned they have smaller project completed in Canada, one they're working on in Australia, but this is a bigger project. You have confidence that they have the ability to do what they need to do?
You know, I think we do. You know, it certainly gives us some confidence that they have a smaller facility, but certainly we recognize the risk. This is their first flagship project in California, and that's why it was important for us to structure this, as we do all of our power purchase agreements, as a power purchase agreement. So if ultimately they don't get it through construction or it doesn't operate, you know, we're not paying any money to the developer. Our main risk is that we would have to go out and replace it with another technology, would likely be batteries or something else.
Right, thank you very much. And so this meets our commitment, but we're not committed financially until we actually they're able to generate the power that we need. Happy to support it. Thank you.
Thanks, Vice Mayor. Councilmember Tordios?
Thank you, Mayor, and thank you, staff, for the presentation. I wanted to, I guess, follow up on some of Councilmember Cohen's comments. I think it makes sense here to have some diversity in terms of our technological mix for energy storage. You know, he mentioned the efficiency angle here. I wanted to ask about costs, just because we've seen that battery costs have, you know, fallen pretty steadily over the years. Do we know how the cost for this tech compares, like on a megawatt hour basis, relative to kind of more traditional energy storage approaches?
Yeah, the market is very volatile right now. A couple years ago, this would have been more expensive by more, but these days, with lithium being a limited resource and many factors, this is actually pretty competitive with lithium right now for this duration. It'll continue to evolve, certainly.
Amazing. Glad to hear it. Thank you.
Yeah, great question, and I echo the interest in the diversification of our resources. Obviously, storage is the big barrier to continuing to deploy intermittent renewable sources, so this is a pretty exciting innovation, and I'm looking forward to seeing how it turns out. Thanks for bringing it to us. Okay, Tony, let's vote.
Motion passes unanimously.
Awesome. Thank you. We're on to item 6.2. This is the San Diego Community Power Resource Adequacy Trade. You all have the materials in your agenda. There's no staff presentation. Tony, do we have public comment?
I have no cards for this item.
Okay, coming back to the council. Staff is available for questions, obviously.
Move approval.
Okay, I'm not seeing any hands. Tony, let's vote.
Motion passes unanimously.
Great, thank you. Okay, we're on to item 8.1. This is the establishment of the Story Road Business Improvement District and approval to levy assessments within that district for fiscal year 26-27. I have a script, so please bear with me. Item number 8.1 is the public hearing on the establishment of the Story Road Business Improvement District and the levy of assessments in the bid for fiscal year 2026-2027. Before I open the public hearing, has the city clerk received any written protests from affected businesses in the proposed bid?
No written protests have been received from businesses in the proposed BID.
Great. At this time, we will open the public hearing.
I have two cards. Three. I have Paul Pham, come on down, Tim, last name M, and Vu Din. Please come on down.
Great. We'll just have everyone come down and you can speak in whatever order you arrive.
Good morning, good afternoon, Council. I want to start out just to thank you for considering the item before you. With being a business owner on Story Road, I truly appreciate the support that the community and the city has offered. And with the limited resources that we've had these past 2 years, we've done quite a bit with that. And when times are tough, and we all know that times are tough now, and with the looming economy as we predict it to be ahead of us, small businesses need all the support that they can get. And with the formation of this bid, it'll allow us to continue to do the work we're doing. We want the rest of the world to know what Little Saigon on Story Road is all about. We want people to come here, visit us, and to bring that economic vitality back to San Jose. So I urge you all to move this forward and form the business improvement district that we truly need to go through these tough times. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker.
Hello. Good afternoon, Mayor and Council members. I'm Tim Muting. I represent Phase 3 Communication, a business. Yeah, I'm a little bit different size. So anyway, so I represent Phase 3 Communication in the Story Road District area, and I'm also a board member of the Story Road Association. It's very valuable that we've, established a cleaner, safer environment throughout this association. I'm proud to be part of it. Councilman Dong is always at the meetings, which is helpful. And we own several properties within San Jose. We employ 138 employees, and probably 70% of them live within San Jose. It's very important for us to have a safe community there and clean community. So I very much would like to move forward on this. There's so much value to having this association. So it keeps it safer, keeps it cleaner, and more valuable. And thank you for your time.
Thank you. Next speaker.
Good afternoon, Mayor. Good afternoon, Council members. My name is Vu. I'm the owner of Banh Mi Oven on Story Road, and I am one of the founding members who helped create the Story Road Business Association. Along with the help of the city and Councilmember Minh Duan, through the association work, we've been able to bring more visitors into the corridor and really showcase the vibrant Vietnamese culture that defines this area. Events like the night market drew over 20,000 people and create a space where community could come together, support local businesses, and celebrate our identity. Partnership like the banner program on the street, on the road of Story with the San Jose Shark have also helped to elevate the corridor and make it more visible to the broader community. This work has not only supported our businesses, but also strengthened the community and built a sense of pride along Story Road. The Business Improvement District will allow us to continue this momentum and in a more consistent and sustainable way. I'm here to express my strong support for the formation of the Story Road Business Improvement District. Thank you.
Back to council.
Great. We will now close the public hearing. Since the business owners have supported the establishment of the Story Road Business Improvement District and the proposed levy of assessments, I will now ask the council to consider approval of the ordinance establishing the bid and adoption of the resolution levying assessments in the bid for fiscal year 2026-2027. So turning to colleagues, I do just want to say a big thank you to Paul Pham, who we heard from, who's the president of the Story Road Business Association, the board of directors, Vu Deng, who heads up events and marketing, who we also heard from, Tim Muting, Safe and Clean Initiatives, and our team in OEDCA, who've been working closely with the Story Road Business Association to get to this point. You all have done great work already building a sense of place, and the very successful night market is something that I think caught attention far beyond San Jose, so look forward to your continued success. I will turn to Councilmember Dewan for the additional comments in the motion.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you to the speakers from Phase 3, Banh Mi, and SRBA. This bid reflects the power of our local businesses coming together to invest in their share value and the future of the Little Saigon area. It will enhance cleanliness, safety, and overall attractiveness, making Story Road more welcoming for both residents and visitors. This district creates new opportunity for marketing, events like Night Market, Tet Lunar New Year, Full Moon Festival, Black April, Crawdad Festival, Back to School Backpack Giveaway, Toys at Christmas for underserved family, and cultural activation that celebrate the community diversity. I look forward to increase the foot traffic, stronger support for small and local owned businesses. Thank you to the business owner, community leaders, and our OED staff who are making this vision a reality every step of the way, especially this to, Triba, Story Road Business Association, the Monterey Corridor Business Association. It's been 16 years since any type of bid have successfully came about. And so I am so proud to be part of this and to support the Story Road Business Association. We are eager to see the positive impact of this bid will have once fully established. With that, I move for approval.
Thanks, Councilmember. Councilmember Candelas?
Thank you, Mayor. I just wanted to express my appreciation to not just the staff for working on this, but also all the business owners and all the folks who are vested in seeing this come to fruition. I did have a quick question for staff, for Jen. While you come down, obviously we've seen multiple bids. I know staff is engaging full force on trying to deploy these, and just curious on future plan for bids. Given, I know I've heard interest from the Evergreen Business Association that spouted in my district, and curious what the plan is for that.
Thank you for the question, Councilmember Candelas. Jen Baker, Director of Economic Development and Cultural Affairs in the City Manager's Office of Economic Development. There are 4 neighborhoods we are currently working with that do not have a bid yet, and Evergreen is included in that. So Kaye Willow, Alum Rock Village, Winchester Row, and Evergreen are 4 of the communities with whom we have had some fluidity of conversation and interest in establishing a business improvement district. We are planning next month to execute a contract for consulting services to launch new work with a sort of Greater Oaks, Santa Teresa neighborhood capture. So that's very exciting. And moving forward in the conversations about bids, we really look at 5 criteria for for assessing the viability of whether a bid is really ready and has enough inertia to go. And those criteria are engagement, so the evidence of businesses engaged in community, neighborhood issues, and activation, in addition to attendance and association business meetings. So folks should attend their meetings and lean in. It's a good time to do that. Maturity, so that there is some level of clear leadership within the association to pursue sustainable self-funding strategies. We definitely want to make sure that the bids we're standing up have longevity. Viability, so a general assessment of the service need and the costs that would be associated with the needs that the bid is trying to fulfill. Affordability, will the assessment fee be sufficient to cover the intended service plan? And support from the council member and staff.
Thank you, Jen. I appreciate that. And just my shameless plug for Evergreen. They're ready. They have all those criteria. I'm kidding. Thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you, Jen.
It's a pleasure.
Appreciate the D8 advocacy. All right. I don't see any other hands. We have a motion. Tony, let's vote.
Motion passes unanimously.
Great, thank you. All right, we're moving on to item 8.2, actions related to the loan commitment for the Valley Transportation Authority Capital Station Affordable Housing Development, and we have a brief staff presentation.
Thank you, Mayor. So Eric Sullivan, Director of Housing, and with me is Banu San, a Deputy Director. So we'll go through a brief presentation here for another project to bring forward to bring additional affordable units out of the ground. And so this project represents another funding coming out of our request for proposals, whereas if we've discussed before council, the RFP kind of prioritizes shovel-ready projects. It looks for ways to provide our gap financing as the last money in, thereby further leveraging our ability to maximize not just the utility of our funds, but also when the timing of our funds comes in, so we're able to expand out how many projects our funds can touch to close gaps. So this project, in collaboration with VTA and Capital Station, just continues that work going forward. And so this project in an overall, and then I'll ask Banu to get into the details, really begins to build out a great site in conjunction with Mid-Penn. You'll see this has deeply affordable projects. It builds just about 3 buildings, spreading out a broad section of AMIs as we continue to invest in more mixed income developments. And so I will now pass it over to Banu to go through some details.
Thank you, Eric. Banu San, Deputy Director, Housing Production. The project was awarded $49 million in total affordable housing and sustainable communities program funding through HCD, the California Department of Housing and Community Development. For the construction of the affordable housing, a part of that is the $35 million of the ASIC loan is for the construction, and $14 million is a grant. And the grant portion of the funding goes towards transit improvements, like bus passes, bike lanes, pedestrian connections to the VTA station. The ASIC program funds land use, housing, transportation, and land preservation projects that support infill and compact development that reduce greenhouse gas emissions. Under this grant, project will provide 1 transit pass per unit for the first 3 years of the ASIC grant for residents, and then starting in year 4, the project will pay the transit passes through their operations in perpetuity. For rental assistance, the project is going to be subsidized for 71 homes through the project-based vouchers from the Housing Authority. And the vouchers ensure rental revenue stability and financial feasibility, allowing the development to remain deeply affordable while minimizing the need for larger local city subsidies. The project applied for a tax credit round, 4% round, February 3rd of this year, and the allocation is going to be announced in May 12th. And the construction is expected to start in November, and it's estimated to be around 24 months. This slide just breaks down the subsidy as well as the cost into per units. We can see that the per unit cost of the development is around 800K. And then the city's 41,000 per unit share represents around 5% of the total cost. It is the lowest per unit contribution among the public funders here in this project, and made possible by strong leverage from HCD, BAFA, the Bay Area Housing Finance Authority funding, and the county. So every dollar of the city gap financing is leveraged to create $19 in total development value. This slide shows the sources of funding. It reflects the permanent sources. And so we have the federal tax credit equity, which is the single largest source at 46% of the total cost. And HCD's ASIC permanent loan, 20% is a significant funding source for this development, as previously mentioned. So the Bay Area, I just want to talk a little bit about the Bay Area Housing Finance Authority. This authority was established by state legislature in 2019. It is the first regional housing finance authority in California with an oversight committee consisting of a number of cities and counties that work jointly with the Metropolitan Transportation Committee and the Association of Bay Area Governments Housing Committee. And their mission is to create safe, stable, and permanent affordable homes. And they published in 2024 an OFA called a REAP 2.0 program, Regional Early Action Planning Program. And this project was awarded through that. And really the projects they were looking for are those that accelerate infill development that facilitates housing supply and affordability, affirmative further fair housing, and is similar to the ASIC program, Reduced Vehicle Miles Traveled. This project was awarded $3 million through that NOFA. This is just the unit and affordability mix. More than half the units are for families, 104 homes, 51% are 2 to 3 bedrooms, and 57 units, around 28%, target 30% area median income, and so individuals between 42 to 63,000 in annual income, with rents ranging from $1,000 to $1,500 a month. As mentioned previously, 71 project-based vouchers from the Santa Clara Housing Authority will be provided, 20 for lower-income households, and 51 for permanent supportive housing tenants requiring specialized services. And that's a contract for 20 years and renewable for another additional 20. And I'll pass it on to Eric now.
Thank you, Banu. So you'll see overall this project will have a significant impact on the work that we do. We've leveraged our public dollars with multiple public entities in order to move the initiative forward and get some both deeply affordable units as well as a broader span of affordable units going a little higher on the AMI scale. And then continuing to invest in our work, as you've seen, about 80% of the total project funding will go from public sources as we're expanding our investments into deeply affordable projects. And so that is the summary of this project, and we're happy to answer your questions.
Great. Thank you very much. Tony, do we have public comment on this item?
Yes, I have several cards. Jason, come on down. Emma, Juan, Edith, and Sean.
Hey everyone, we're here today as we're speaking about VTA and affordable housing. We just wanted to also deliver a message on behalf of the folks who are slated for the VTA Cerrone site, the folks from the jungle.
Sorry, you've got to keep it on this topic. The decision before us is a permanent construction loan of up to $8.4 million for low and moderate income housing. If you want to speak on any other topic, you'll have to wait for open forum at the end of the meeting.
Okay, well,
thank you.
we anticipate your attention at that point, as well as hope to speak with you after the meeting.
Great. Is anyone here to speak on item 8.2 on the $8.4 million loan commitment?
This loan seems like a good idea, and if we're going to do more things that are related to VTA, we would hope that they are done better than what is happening at Cerrone. Because right now at Cerrone, see how it all goes together?
Okay, Sean, do you have any other comments on the loan?
No, I addressed the loan. I addressed the loan. You can try and shut down public comment, but it's just, I addressed the loan. I spoke about the loan. So right now at Cerrone, people don't have bus passes. So how are they going to get to and from locations?
It's not germane to the topic. I'm giving you...
I addressed the loan.
Okay, Tony, Sean, you have one more chance to speak to the item. Okay, you're finished. We're coming back to the council. Thank you. All right, we'll come back to the council on item 8.2, and we'll go to Councilmember Campos.
I just want to begin by thanking staff for this report and for the work with the several community partners that have been involved in first putting the financing together so that we can break ground later this year. I am really excited to see this project move forward, particularly the emphasis on affordability for those in our community who we know are in dire needs of spaces like this. And I'm very proud of this project in District 2 being located close to public transit and using that as a way to increase density. I will just say my constituents in the area that are living in single-family homes are concerned about what those impacts are going to look like during construction and what parking spaces are going to be eliminated. My understanding is that this project in particularly will actually maintain some of the parking spaces, and so that gap information is something for us to think about how we can better inform the Vista Park neighbors about these impending changes. And I know they've also have questions about the parcel that is located across the street, jointly owned by VTA and the city of San Jose, and what might come of that with this development. So those are just some of the questions that I'm hearing from my constituents, and I'd love an opportunity for city, VTA, and any other partners to join us in Vista Park at a neighborhood meeting between November for those updates. It was really, really inspiring to see the partnership that we have with the county on this, and it was interesting to see that our investment as a city could be strengthened. So I'll just leave that note there. We all know that housing is critical, and every dollar, as we can see, makes a huge impact. So with that, I will motion to accept this item.
Thanks, Council Member. I don't see any other hands. Tony, let's vote.
Motion passes unanimously.
Thank you. All right, we're on to item 8.3. This is the second substantial amendment to the FY 25-26 annual action plan. There's no staff presentation. Tony, do we have public comment on item 8.3?
I have no cards for this item.
All right, coming back to the council.
Move for approval. Second.
All right, I don't see any other hands. Tony, let's vote. All right.
Motion passes unanimously.
Thank you. We're on to item 8.4. This is the Lower Income Voucher and Equity Program Amendment. There's no staff presentation. Tony, do we have public comment?
I have no cards for, wait. Yes. Sean?
Is that on item 8.4?
Yes.
Okay.
I think this would be something to oppose, because they have jobs and they have incomes. And the people who don't have incomes are unhoused people. SJPD has a definite high amount of pay. They are paid plenty. They are paid plenty to shoot people like me and arrest people like me. When you don't like what I say, I get arrested. When you don't like what I say, you shut off my mic. But what's happening right now is the people who are unhoused, who do not have enough money, they are placed in places like Mayhem Land, where they don't even have bus passes, where they're not allowed to bring lithium batteries that are the things that are on their scooters, that are on their e-bikes. How are they supposed to get around? They are in a community that they don't even know, that is not supportive of bilingual and monolingual people.
Sean, you're getting off topic.
No, I'm still talking about the low-income voucher for San Jose PD. And people have a right to be fearful of the police and fearful that they're going to be picked up by ICE. And they're safer in a community that they're in right now that they know than move to an area that is basically in Milpitas. And we have reached out to your office to talk about it, but I guess you're too busy campaigning to even respond. You want me to keep going? I'm still on topic. I still oppose this voucher. I still think that people who make over $100,000 do not need a voucher for their housing. See, I went back to the topic. But these people who are being placed in Cerrone with project managers who don't pick them up or leave them at hotels and don't provide food for 4 days, I think this is not a system that is working right now. 109 people don't even know if they're actually on the list. They have to keep asking, am I on the list? Am I on the list? Am I on the list? This is not how you treat people. You need to do better. You need to answer calls.
Thank you. Back to council.
All right, coming back to the council, we'll go first to Councilor Dewan.
Thank you, Mayor. The recommendation in my memo is about simple but urgent reality for people we rely on keeping San Jose safe. When our workforce is priced out, our services become strained, and our community feel the impact. We all know that San Jose remains one of the most expensive housing markets in the country. We are asking our essential worker, police officer, firefighters, and teachers to serve this city while having to live far outside it. That disconnect has real consequences in longer response time, staffing shortage, burnout, and instability in our schools. Our police department continues to face well-documented staffing shortages, rely heavily on overtime just to meet the basic needs. Teachers are increasingly unable to live in the community they serve, leading to higher turnover, larger class size, and less continuity for students. And our firefighters are living farther and farther away. When there's a call back, it'd be difficult to get the large amount of firefighters that we need in major disaster in our city. This recommendation maintained the program's broader equity goal while aligning our housing strategy with workforce need for our public serving professional. This recommendation targets the sector where shortages have the most immediate impact on safety and stability. If we want a city that works, we need a workforce that can live here. And this program still allows first come, first serve for a public employee. With that, I move my memo, and I ask that our colleagues support it. Thank you.
All right, I'm not hearing a second on the motion. We'll go to Councilmember Casey.
Thank you, Mayor. I want to thank my colleagues, council members Cohen, Ortiz, and Candelas for their partnership on this item. The LIVE program is a novel approach for our city, and I'm mindful that as a public investment, its success depends on the project reaching stabilization quickly. At the same time, public safety remains arguably our city's top priority. With 114 vacant police officer positions, recruitment and retention is of paramount importance. And we know that the cost of housing is probably one of the largest, if not the largest, barriers we face. That's the impetus guiding our memo, which takes a careful path. While a rigid set-aside may be legally tenable, we chose preference in recognition of the potential challenges that a set-aside could create. This allows us to support San Jose PD officers while preserving the flexibility we need to fill the units efficiently and keep the program on track. In doing so, we strike the right balance, supporting public safety, protecting the integrity of the program, and delivering on our housing goals. And with that, I'd like to move staff's recommendation along with my colleague, Councilmember Ortiz's memo.
Second. All right, thank you. There's a motion on the floor. We'll go to Councilmember Ortiz next.
Thank you, Mayor. First, I just want to thank Councilmember Casey for his leadership on the memo, as well as our colleagues, Councilmember Cohen and Candelas, for working alongside the Brown Act to bring this forward, and for continuing to push creative solutions to our housing and workforce challenges. As we've been engaging our community on the budget, the number one concern I continue to hear from my residents in District 5 is public safety, and the reality that we simply do not have enough officers patrolling our streets. We all know that compared to other major cities, our police department remains relatively small. And if we're serious about recruitment and retention, we need to think creatively about how we attract and keep officers in San Jose. We also know that having officers who live in the communities they serve builds stronger relationships, deeper trust, and a better understanding of the neighborhoods they are sworn to protect. By creating a preference for SJPD personnel within the LIVE program, we're creating an opportunity to support recruitment and retention while fostering stronger community relations by making it easier for officers to live locally. At the same time, we're doing it in a way that maintains flexibility. It's an additional preference, not a set-aside, as Councilmember Casey had mentioned, so we can still serve a broader range of working families and, of course, our essential public employees. And to briefly touch on my memo, I just want to thank Eric Sullivan and his team for their support and creativity in helping us bring forward this recommendation. We need to think beyond a single pilot and take a broader look at what our workforce needs to live in the communities they actually serve. When they can afford to call San Jose home, they're more connected, more invested, and better able to show up for our residents. Too many of our city employees across departments are being priced out and forced into long commutes. And in a year, we're facing a budget shortfall. We need to look at tools for retention beyond salary. Workforce housing is one of those tools. And so by being conscious of the income levels and where our workforce currently lives, we're setting ourselves up to build a more intentional, data-driven retention strategy. Thank you so much, and I look forward to the vote.
Thank you, Council Member. We'll go to Vice Mayor Foley.
Boy, at the risk of being at odds on this particular issue, I'm just going to have to, in order to be consistent. I supported the master lease when we took over the management of this property and the ownership of the property so that we could create workforce housing from it. The reason I found that compelling and that was important is because we needed to provide housing for people who are working in this building who can live at the Fay and then walk to work. I appreciate the council members' memo from Casey, Cohen, Ortiz, and Candelas, and the creative thinking to provide additional benefits to the great public servants of the police department. The intention here is good. However, I have some serious concerns about the proposal as it relates to equity, fairness, and potential housing discrimination. The City of San Jose has thousands of employees. As the city manager likes to say, we're an A to Z city, airport to zoo. Our employees range many different fields and occupations. They're analysts, executive assistants, recreation leaders, park rangers, zookeepers, veterinarians, engineers, and of course, police officers and firefighters, in addition to countless other employee classifications. All of these employees are essential to the operation of our organization and the delivery of essential services to our residents. All of these employees deserve a fair and equitable chance to take advantage of the lower income voucher equity program. To take a specific classification or department and prioritize those employees for a limited special housing benefit just doesn't feel right to me, and it isn't fair to our employees. I also have concerns about the proposed form of fair housing from a fair housing perspective. I appreciate the memo from the city attorney and respect her and their professional judgment that this proposal is legally defensible. However, as I've stated before, and many of you know this, I've been in the real estate business for almost 40 years now, and I take an oath every year to uphold fair housing laws. I'm intimately familiar with and understand the importance of fair housing laws. In my heart of hearts, I believe that this proposal, if it doesn't violate the letter of any fair housing laws, it violates the spirit of fair housing. While I appreciate the attention behind this proposal and the authors of the memorandum, I just cannot, in good conscience, support it. I support the need for housing for our employees. I just don't support the preferential treatment for one set of employees over another. Thanks.
Thanks, Vice Mayor. We'll go to Councilmember Tordillos.
Thank you, Mayor, and thank you to my colleagues for bringing forward this memo. I continue to be very excited about the LIVE program. I think it's a novel use of financing to support workforce housing in our city and a good opportunity to support our public workers. And after the original version of the LIVE program was passed by this council, we actually had outreach from our office, from faculty members at San Jose State, from different city departments, from some public school teachers who were excited about the potential here and eager to learn more about how they could apply for a unit in this building. But I have concerns about the amendment that was presented, and I don't believe that I'll be able to support it. While I appreciate the need to focus on recruitment and retention for SJPD, I have real questions about how this memo, as currently designed, would really advance those goals, and do have concerns about fairness to other public workers and potential unintended consequences. Like the Vice Mayor, from a fairness angle, I wonder what message this sends to other public employees if we are creating this hierarchy. And I think it sends a message that we value our police force more than we value other potential public employees that might take spots in this building. And I also think it's just important to remember that this program was never designed as a police retention or recruitment tool. It was not tailor-made for SJPD. If you look at the income bands with the 80 to 110% AMI, a very small percentage of our sworn officers would actually be eligible for this program at all. Basically just people coming out of the academy and some step one officers who don't happen to take any overtime, but outside of that, it's a very small pool of eligible members of the force who would even be eligible for a unit in this building. So I struggle to see how we would fill 50 units just with members of SJPD. And more importantly, I think that if we're serious about improving retention rates and focusing on recruitment, I think we need a more holistic policy that is really tailor-made to the needs of our police force and thinks about how we can support them both coming out of the academy, but also in terms of their longer-term housing goals. Again, these units are going to be available in one big block in a couple months once we move through today and Eric gets the chance to actually design the program and do the outreach. It's going to be a big block of units. It's not going to be tied to any specific academy graduation, so it's not clear to me how it can really be used from a recruitment angle, proactively. And then once people are in these units, They'll get their, small subsidies towards rent, given their higher starting incomes. As the units step up towards market rate, it's not clear to me in the longer term how it even encourages retention. I think if we want to look at something that is really focused on recruitment and retention, I'd be more interested in something like a down payment assistance program, where we could say, hey, as you accumulate years on the force coming out of the academy, maybe you also accumulate some down payment assistance benefit that then actually gives someone incentive both to stick with SJPD coming out of the academy and something longer term to get them invested in staying in San Jose over the longer term. But I think that requires that we really take a broader look at the needs of the department, how we can match those to opportunities to support with affordable housing in a more intentional way, rather than taking a program that was never designed for these purposes and then carving out a specific number of units that we're going to say we're going to prioritize for SJPD. So that would be my approach here. I agree 100% with everything that my colleagues here have said about the need to focus on recruitment and retention. This is just not how I would go about it, especially in light of the fairness concerns that have been raised to other city employees.
Thanks, Councilmember. I'm going to go to Councilmember Kamei because we haven't heard from her yet, and then we'll come back to Councilmember Dewan. Councilmember Kamei.
Thank you so much. I want to thank all of my colleagues for their thoughtful suggestions on how we could move this forward. I think this is a great opportunity. I think that always having an extra tool for recruitment is a great idea. However, I think that I do feel very much like Vice Mayor Foley, where there's so many just within our own system here within the city, all of the employees that are so deserving as well. That I think that these opportunities don't come up very often, and I think that we should make it open to as many as possible, and here we have the opportunity to do that. So I think that I like the idea that Councilmember Tordillos just mentioned in terms of, hey, is there a way to provide some kind of way of having them build equity in some other way to be able to stay here. Because at the end of the day, it would really be great if we found a way for people to stay in San Jose. And we know the affordability of San Jose is just not there for so many. So I would not support the motion on the floor at this time. I think it's a great gesture. I think it's a wonderful idea, but I don't think that at this point in time it's something that I could support.
Thanks, Councilmember. We'll go to, I want to make sure we hear from everyone. Okay, I think we've heard from all of these folks, so we'll start with Councilmember Dewan.
Thank you, Mayor. I appreciate Councilmember Casey, Candelas, Cohen, and Ortiz memorandum focusing on supporting our police officers. We all recognize the staffing challenges there, but I have concern about moving forward with the preference that it limited to a single group. If we are going to create a preference within a limited program, it should be grounded in consistent principle. Police, fire, and teacher all face the same fundamental barrier that cannot afford to live in the community they serve. Firefighters and teachers directly impact public safety and communities' well-being. So I just want to be clear that if we are going to implement a preference, it should include police, fire, and teachers. If we cannot reach an agreement that broader approach, then I believe the better path is to maintain an open program with no preference at all. For that reason, I cannot support the motion on the floor. Thank you.
Thanks, Councilmember. We'll go to Councilmember Ortiz.
Thank you, Mayor. I just want to start out by saying I appreciate my colleagues' interest in advocating for our frontline staff, especially our IFPTE and MEF bargaining units. And I hope that this advocacy continues, not just on this item today, but in the decisions we make moving forward on this dais. To be honest, many times when these bargaining units come forward, I feel like their voices fall on deaf ears on this council. But I'm glad that we have council members talking about this today. Because if we're serious about making sure our workforce can live in the city in which they serve. That also means continuing to advocate for livable wages and the protections against contracting out of their jobs. Because when a policy was going through the state legislature that would have prevented the contracting out of these jobs, the council majority here voted to oppose that policy. So I just want to make sure that we're not picking and choosing when we choose to advocate for our frontline workforce. Respectfully, I don't see this as being against other city employees at all. Every public employee remains eligible. This simply recognizes a specific department where this program could be especially impactful in addressing a widely recognized recruitment challenge. There's a reason this council has consistently worked to preserve our police budget as much as possible. It's because we know public safety remains one of the top concerns across our city. And yes, it's true, we have been recognized as one of the safest, largest cities in the United States. But that's not the reality that the residents in my district experience every day, or the small business owners in my city council district experience every day. This is about being responsive to the clear need, while continuing to find a creative way to support our workforce as a whole. You know, I know that I've used my time on this council to champion the interests of IFPTE and MEF, and I could see that because they know anytime an issue comes before this council and they need help, they reach out to me. All right, I don't simply just choose when I choose to stand up for our frontline staff. Thank you so much.
All right, let me go. Thank you, Councilmember. We'll go to Councilmember Cohen.
Yeah, thank you. Just briefly, I know I heard some questions about why I signed on to this memo, so I'm just going to say why I signed on to this memo. First, I'll just say I don't think this particular recommendation will do all that much to help our police department as much as those of us who signed on would hope it does. I also don't think it will do much at the detriment of our other employees as much as some of the folks who are speaking against it believe. And I guess I can ask, Eric, you can nod rather than walk down if my answer just requires a yes or no. As you interpret what this memo says is that when the units open, if the applicants have some police officers in the list of applicants, they would be guaranteed a placement, but that the rest of the units would not be held. They would still be filled by everybody else who applies at that moment. Is that correct?
I wish it was just an easy yes or no. So I just wanted to explain a bit. There's no guarantees. I just want to be careful
they have to
of
qualify,
that.
I guess I should say.
As
long as they qualify.
They go through the process,
Yes.
they will be given the according preference.
Right. So if there's a few who, if 100 units open up for availability, and 4 or 5 people happen to be ready from the police department at that moment, and they qualify, they would get spaces. But the number 50 in the memo strikes me as an arbitrary number that's meaningless, because the rest of the units would be filled by all the other eligible public sector employees who apply as well at that point in time, correct?
All the preferences as directed by council will get executed on so we can fill, and based on the interest we've received from the various public entities, as well as just within the city, as well as just within the housing department, we are very confident we'll fill all 200 spaces.
Right, so my belief is that there's a need potentially for some help for some police officers and some potential help in our recruiting, but I do not believe that there will be 50 units set aside or held or reserved in any way, that this is an attempt to say, hey, if at the moment of the time that applications open up, a police officer applies and they qualify, they receive a space. And that to me seemed like a reasonable approach to try to address an issue that we've been hearing about. But the vast majority of the units, my suspicion is almost all, will end up going to all the other public sector employees that we intended this program to be applied to when we first approved it, when we previously heard the item. So that's why I support the memo, and I'll vote in favor of the motion on the floor.
All right, next council member. I don't see any other hands. Tony, let's vote.
Motion passes 6-5 with Kamei, Dwan, Foley, Tordios, and Campos voting against.
Okay, that narrowly passes. Thank you all. We're on to open forum. This is an opportunity for members of the public to speak on city business that was not on today's agenda.
Okay,
Tony, who do we have?
I have several names. I'm going to call 3 or 4 to start. Brian Darby, Juan, Edith, and Emma, come on down, and then I'll add names as you speak. Did they come? Okay, wait, hold on. So those people didn't come down. I'm going to go with Jason and Sean as well.
Go ahead.
So if I've called your name, please line up.
Okay, let's have everybody line up. Go ahead, Brian.
Thank you. How are you all doing today? Just reading online, there is a good possibility that there's going to be a ceasefire in the Middle East. Hopefully I'm right about that. I want to give, did you guys see the Artemis 2, I think I'm saying the name right, go around the moon? Do you remember 68? I don't know if some of you may. I was a little kid in front of a little tiny black and white TV. We landed on the moon as a species and as Americans. We landed on the moon. That same year, there was a war in Vietnam, and 2 great Americans were assassinated, Bobby and Martin Luther King Jr., Bobby Kennedy. Our species has come up with what I consider 2 ways to save our entire species. We can possibly deflect asteroids and vaccines. Those are 2 prominent ways that we've could save potentially with comets and asteroids, and with vaccines we have saved billions of people. I remember young people in my school having polio, and you don't want that coming back. It is, and it will, because that's what viruses are, chemical processes that take advantage of weaknesses, and we have shown that. As a body of people, I would plead with you, please advocate before our leaders that wiping out an entire civilization or swearing at people on Easter or any holy day and mocking people's religion is really not a good way to do that. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker.
Thank you. On behalf of the Jungle residents, as it's listed here, there's a few concerns that we collectively were concerned about regarding the upcoming sweep next week of the Jungle. And I know there's a lot of individuals, organizations that are working with the city to help us all in making sure that it's done in the most dignified and respectful manner, so that everybody out there that is unhoused can, have a place to sleep at night. As of right now, most of those people that are left that have not been placed are still wondering whether or not they're going to be placed at all. I know there was a little bit of information or misinformation regarding numbers and the total population that's out there. So if we can get, as soon as possible, a clear, definite, I guess date or yes or no as to who is going to be placed and who isn't. Because as far as I know, next week some demolitions will start, and not everybody really is 100% confident that they are going to have somewhere to go, by the beginning of this next big, movement in the homeless community in San Jose. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker.
I'm just lost on the logic of placing people at a VTA site and not supplying them bus passes. I mean, it's just sort of ridiculous. It's like the most basic thing in the world. I don't understand. And you got somebody running for governor like they are like the solution for all homeless things, and they can't even figure out how to provide bus passes. Yeah, vote for me, 4%. I can't provide bus passes. The sweep starts, come on, it was funny. The sweep starts on the 15th, and they're taking down the bridge on Monday. And they're also denying those of us who are watching the sweep the opportunity to observe it. We need to have an access point to observe the sweep. That's what we do. We make sure people are safe. We make sure they're treated with respect. We need to have that access. But the people are being placed in an area where there's no local stores, no local opportunity to make any money. They're losing all their income. These are mostly bilingual and monolingual people. There's no place for them to make money. They're losing cash for trash. They're losing the ability to recycle. They're losing their opportunity to work under the table. They're losing the opportunity to be day laborers because they're being taken out of that entire community, and they have no way to get back to it because they don't have bus passes. I mean, you're just doing everything you can to shoot yourselves in the foot with this like Mayhem Land project. So if you could like take your finger off the trigger and go, hey, let's give them bus passes, then it would look a lot better. And then you're taking bilingual, monolingual people and putting them in a community that is not, because you're right on the edge of Milpitas. So if you could figure out how to fix this problem, it would be great. And Councilmember DeWand, if you could answer your phone and respond to these people, your emails, that would be awesome, because they're your constituents.
Next speaker.
Hola, buenas tardes a todos. Estamos hablando hoy Emma y Edith. Y queríamos decirles, bueno, por parte de todos los residentes del Jungle, queremos, bueno, presentarles la petición que ya les presentó Jason, que viene de parte de, pues, 40 firmas de hoy, pero hay muchas más personas que están de acuerdo. Más de 100 personas que viven ahí. Y también queríamos comunicarles, ¿usted quiere? También queremos comunicarles que la comunicación entre housing y la ciudad no están comunicando bien con los residentes, nos están sacando y no tenemos dónde ir, especialmente los que tenemos mascotas, y también porque nos van a mandar muy lejos si no todos tenemos bases de voz ni cómo llegar.
Disculpa, es que estoy bien nerviosa.
And I just wanted to add that so I'll also email each of the council members the petition that Jason read, along with the signatures, and we would really hope, we have 3 residents here who came representing a much larger group, and we would really hope to speak with any council members who would like to learn more and learn how to support residents, because there's a week left and many of them still do not know where they're going, and that's not acceptable. ¿Algo más?
No, gracias.
Thank you. Gracias.
Next speaker.
Is that our final speaker?
Are you coming to speak?
Hello. Just wanted to mention, since earlier you were voting on housing for police officers. Some of the officers who are put out, such as Captain Donahue, are making over $500,000, and their job is to go and oversee the destruction of poor people's tents and poor people's RVs and poor people's little shelters that they're able to build for themselves with their tarps. And this is a grave injustice that is very much your concerns. And it is just unbelievable the amount of money that is able to be paid in order to, like, contracts to companies such as Tucker, and they make millions every year from the city to destroy poor people's shelters. And they're constantly told, you can't be here, you can't be there, you can't be here. There is hardly ever a you can be here. And this is a grave injustice. And there are people who are from the unhoused community who are coming to you, who are trying to reach out, who are trying to talk to you, who are telling you, give us a few weeks and come meet with us. And they're not even being met by a single council member to come and talk to them. There are a couple who have spoken to them, but you know, there's an absolute need to actually. You cannot be throwing away hundreds of dollars worth of things or thousands of dollars worth of things or a multi-$1,000 RV of somebody who is struggling in this economy, right? Which is your responsibility and frankly your fault, and not give them an alternative. And this is entirely your responsibility. And so do it.
Thank you. That's your time. Back to council.
Okay, thank you to everyone who spoke during open forum. We appreciate the feedback, and with that, we are adjourned.